In this video, we're discussing what's making the top headlines right now, the coming recession. Are we in one? Are we not in one? Everybody has an opinion. So, what the heck is going on, and what do you need to know as a consumer to make the best decision for your financial future? That's what we're getting into today. Hi, and welcome back to Stop Being Sold. My name is Michelle, and I'm here with my good friend Brian. And today we're just having a frank discussion about what the heck is up with this recession or non recession. I mean, who knows?
From the headlines, you think the sky is falling, Michelle. You've probably seen all these headlines. Fed interest rate hikes will drive us into recession. Banks are predicting a deep recession. Recession this, recession that, fear, the world's ending. Recessions can be bad, but first, let's define what a recession is and discuss what's different this time.
Okay, and then just to be clear, before you give us this definition, this will be the textbook definition and not the definition of the White House.
Exactly.
I had to.
This is textbook. This is what it's supposed to be. So, okay. A recession is a period of economic contraction characterized by a decline in the GDP, rising unemployment, and reduced consumer and business spending.
Okay.
Recessions are part of the natural business cycle and typically occur every few years. Although recessions are naturally part of the economic cycle, they can cause significant hardships for individuals and for businesses. There's typically 4 phases to a recession: contraction, trough, recovery, and expansion. Okay. We highlight all 4, but only focus on the first 2 phrases because, in all honesty, Michelle, we're nowhere near the second 2.
Okay. I just want to really quickly just go back to the definition. So it's a decline in GDP,
yep,
rising unemployment,
yep,
and reduced consumer and business spending.
It's that simple.
Okay.
It's that simple.
All right. So let's start with our first phase, then the contraction phase. What is it? And then let's talk about what's different right now.
Okay. So in this phase, economic activity slows down and businesses begin to reduce production, leading to a decline in GDP. Consumers also start to cut back on spending as they become more cautious about their financial future. This phase can be triggered by a variety of different factors: declining consumer confidence, a sudden shock to the economy, or even a financial crisis.
Okay, so then that is the definition, but right now, I personally don't see the data showing that consumers are slowing down their spending.
No. Economic activity has slowed in some areas, but in all honesty, it's accelerated in others.
Right.
Consumers, and we've talked about this many times on our channel here, consumers are still spending, and recent retail numbers have increased their spending, and consumer confidence actually just rose this past month.
Exactly. All right. So I have lots of other questions, but let's get through the second phase then.
Okay. The trough phase. The trough phase is the point at which the economy hits its lowest point and economic activity is at its lowest. This is where unemployment rates are at their highest and many businesses are forced to close. At this point, the economy is generally considered to be in a recession.
Okay. So then what's different right now? Like, unemployment rates are at an all-time low, correct?
Right. And think about this. If you lost your job today, you can easily pick one up tomorrow.
Okay, so Brian, here's my question. If you've just explained to us these first 2 phases, right? Where things, economic activity slowing down, and we've got, it's unemployment rates would be at their highest. We're not seeing any of this right now. So my question is, where are the banks? Some of these big banks have come out, and where are people getting their information? Like, how, if the data doesn't add up?
No, it doesn't. It truly doesn't. Yeah. We're in a rising interest rate environment.
Sure.
The Fed's trying to slow down the economy and bring inflation down, right?
But that's not even working.
But that's not working. You're exactly right. Unemployment numbers are still going lower.
Right.
Which, I mean, we're at 40-year lows in unemployment.
Okay.
That's not the start of a recession.
Okay. Unless is the data skewed? How many people that would otherwise be in the workforce have just stopped looking for jobs?
Well, that's true too, because of the great resignation that's happened over the last 3 years.
It is happening. It's still going on.
Still it's happening. But in all honesty, Michelle, people are still spending money. People are still traveling. We just had record travel numbers, record airline numbers as far as bookings, record hotel bookings. If we're heading into a recession, that kind of tells me that they're predicting 6 months from now, 9 months from now. But the problem is with that, if that's the case and the Fed isn't done raising rates, how far are they going to raise rates to push us into a recession?
Well, that's part of the conversation here as well, is that, you raise them too fast, and there's also that lag effect. We
Yeah.
don't raising them today, we might not see the effect of it for another 6, 9, 12 months plus, correct?
Well, we've been raising rates for a year now, and we're still at record unemployment numbers, and consumer confidence is still there, and consumers are still spending.
Right.
So is that a green light for the Fed to continue raising interest rates as we move forward?
I mean, they've said
It
yes, right?
it very well could be. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I do have a question on just spending in general. I was recently reading some of the staggering statistics, and I'm sorry I did not bring them today in front of me, but how many Americans are now putting a lot of money on credit cards for
Yes.
basic expenses? So does that help drive up that what we're spending money on?
Yes.
And the question is, how does that play into this whole thing? I mean, if you've got Americans getting into more and more and more debt, now what? It's another 2008 when the rug's pulled, right?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see anything like that in all honesty, because we're not there right now and not even close to anything of that magnitude. And even behind the scenes, you're not hearing any rumblings of failures or anything. Remember, we talked about in the trough phase, you're talking about businesses closing.
Right.
We're still seeing businesses open. I mean, it's different right now. This recession, everyone's talked about it for 12 months now.
It's the most talked about thing that doesn't feel like it's happened yet.
Yeah, it's like, okay, is it around the corner? Where'd it go?
Right.
We're looking for it still, but in all honesty, for some people, things have slowed down a little bit. I understand that. And the inflation numbers, them numbers are still there. Things still cost more. We're still spending more.
Right.
But one thing that I think one thing that's changing and skewing these numbers, Michelle, is the increase in the wages that we've
Yeah.
had over the last 3 years is still bringing a lot of stimulus into this economy. And we may never go into a true full-blown recession here during this cycle.
So that's the other thing that we should discuss. There's nothing wrong. You mentioned it earlier. It's a natural cycle. We have not
Right.
had, we need to be going through these cycles, not prolonging them or propping them up,
Right.
in my personal opinion. What do you say to that?
Well, basically, if we want to get through this faster, the Fed needs to do like a massive rate
Rate hike.
rise immediately
Right.
instead of
These
here's
baby ones.
25, here's 50,
Yeah.
whatever. You want it done, get it done.
Yeah.
And then if that does happen, we're off to the races again.
Sure. Well, yeah, right now it feels like a Shakespearean death scene. Like it just won't end because, someone's putting a Band-Aid on this or giving CPR to
Right.
that. And it's
And the
just
economy's
going.
still doing well.
Sure.
Oh, okay. Everywhere I go, it's people are still traveling. They're spending money.
Yeah,
They're
they
still
are.
going out to eat. And yeah, you're right. Some of it may be getting accumulated more on credit cards and stuff. But honestly, the economy's doing well. And I think anything I have to say about this today's video is the fact that, folks, the economy's still here. It's doing well. This is not an 08, 09 crisis like we had. And I just don't feel that this recession is the same as any other recession that we've ever
Well, do
seen.
you think we're even in one right now?
I don't feel we are. By the numbers, they say we have contracted 2 quarters in a row.
Okay.
But yeah, unemployment is still dropping and wages are still increasing and people are still spending money. So, I mean, by textbook definition, have we met it? Yes. But are we? No, and I can't even see where we are today. I can't even see 6 months out of us hitting the next
Yeah.
two stages of a true full blown recession. So,
Okay. All right. So here's a question, and I'm not trying to be cheeky when I ask this, but does it really flipping matter to the average consumer if we're in one or we're not in one right now?
if it's a full blown recession and a deep,
But
long,
we're not right now, right? I
yeah,
mean,
we're
I'm
not
talking about
right
right
now.
this second.
Right. No, it does not. It does not affect the average person right now.
Okay, so then for those watching, I even want to know, like, what advice do you have then on how to navigate these waters, right? Besides,
Continue.
I would just suggest maybe not turning on the talking heads and
Right.
getting your information from other sources rather than
If
just
you,
the nightly
yeah,
news.
think about this. If you're not feeling it, if you're not feeling that we're in a recession today, then it's not here, folks. It's that simple. Go back to your life, enjoy your life, go back doing what you want to do, and keep living it. You will know if we hit a full blown recession. So,
Okay, so let me rephrase my question then. What do people need to be doing with their money or not doing with their money? Whether it's here now or they're to prep for it, right?
well, first of all, I'd be taking advantage of the highest interest rates we've seen in decades for savers, number one,
Okay.
and putting that money back to work and get it out of your traditional checking and savings accounts and going into high yield accounts minimum. Okay,
Sure.
that's the first thing. Accelerate your earnings right now while you can. And many people are still upgrading their jobs right now
Yeah.
because the economy is still doing well enough to do that. So take advantage
What
of
if
the situation that's in front of you to better your long-term financial future. So
Right. Okay. So what about like markets and even crypto?
yeah,
And
well,
because there is opportunity, when things
massive opportunities right now.
go low, this is your time to
Yeah,
accumulate, right?
yeah.
But
Buy low, sell high. And we're still down from where we were 2 years ago. So why wouldn't you still be slowly accumulating if your long-term goal is 5 years out, 7 years out, 10 years out, keep accumulating.
and
So
I think that's the key. If you've got the long term, right? If it's a
right.
long term plan,
And
um,
if you're short term nearing retirement, honestly, you were just handed the highest interest rates you've seen in decades to accelerate your short term savings and still make good money without risk today.
okay.
So,
All right, so here's the deal. We did a deep dive video into this investing strategies during economic insanity, which is what it really feels like right now.
yeah.
If we're honest about it, go check that out. That's going to be in the pinned comment and the description below. Brian, so anything else you want to say about this? I mean, I know this was just a discussion about what is a recession, what is it not, what's going on, what's different this time, and what people need to do. But
Just stay away from the headlines because remember, the headlines are there to sell you, and they're selling fear right now. This economy is gangbuster, and to me, I'm happy where we are right now in this economy, and believe in the full faith of the U.S. We're here. We're going to make it. The economy's strong. So
there you go. All right. Thank you, Brian, for this. And thanks to everybody who watched. Listen here, if you like the content of this video, hit that like button, please. Don't forget to subscribe. Brian and I put out videos on the daily that help you make the best financial decisions for your future. And don't forget to leave us a comment below. Let us know what you think and what you're doing. All right. Thank you, Brian. Thanks to everybody.
hey, thanks everyone. Have a great day.